Okay, here's another look at the midpoint. What is the midpoint of this point A and B? Well, if we look at it, what we're going to do is we're going to split it into the x values. Here it goes from 1 to 7. So again, what is right in between 1 and 7? Well, 1 plus 7 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. And that's exactly where the G is. That's the midpoint. And then we split it up into the y's. It goes from 4 to 6. 4 plus 6, or what is right in between 4 and 6? Well, obviously 5 is. How do we get that? 4 plus 6 is 10, and then you divide by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So the midpoint is the point 4, 5. Let's look at another example, and I'll have to muck around and move things around. Okay, so let's get the x value. There's the x value for 3. And let's move this y value down to 3 as well. Let's move it down to 2 so they're different. Okay, so that's the x value of B. And let's move, sorry, that was the x value of A. And let's move B. So let's get the x value. It was 10. So it's going from 3 to 10. 3 plus 10 is 13, divided by 2, 6.5. So you can see that the midpoint is 6.5. What about the y values? It's going from 2 to 7. Let's get this 7 in the right spot. See, it's going from 2 to 7. 2 plus 7 is 9. Half of 9 is 4.5. So that is the point. 6.5, 4.5. It doesn't matter if we move the A over to here. It looks a bit weirder. There's the y value, there's the x value. If we look at it, in terms of the x value, it's going from -2 all the way up to 10. So what is the number right between -2 and 10? I can't figure it out. We add them together. 10 plus -2 is 8, and then divide by 2. What you should notice is, unlike when we did gradient, the order doesn't really matter. You can do 10 plus -2 is 8. Divide by 2 is 4, or you could do -2 plus 10 is 8, divide by 2 is 4. With the gradient, it mattered. In terms of the y values, we're going down here from 3 right up to 7, and we may be able to see straight away that is 5, or we can do 3 plus 7 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. So drawing a diagram for these is always best practice. Always, always, always best practice if you can. And I've heard students say it takes a lot more time, but it doesn't really. It just makes you get the right answer. So last one, we want the midpoint of this. In terms of the x's, we're going from 2 to 10. So 2 plus 10 is 12. Divided by 2 gives us the 6. That's where we get the 6 from. And where do we get the 3 from? Well, it's going from -1 to 7. So 7 minus 1 is 6, and divide by 2 is 3. So whenever we're finding the midpoint, add the x's together, divide by 2, add the y's together, divide by 2, and that gives you the midpoint. Thanks.